Hello, my name is Jacob Adams, and I'm a fitness and leadership coach. I'm also the creator of the concept known as common sense self-mastery. Have you heard Gary Vee talk about embracing the process? Brendan Burchard talking about embracing the suck, which he got from the military. Loving the process. Gary Vee talks about how we can be so impatient as people to achieve our dreams and our metrics and the statuses of success. And sometimes, I dare say, rightfully so, we can want more and we need to achieve more. Ambition is such an important part of achieving anything. So then, how can I look you in the eye and say that I do agree at the same time with Gary Vee saying, love the process? You see, there is a fine balance between desiring at a significant level what you want to achieve. For me, it's a new car. And it's also my own gym, right? And also getting to Diamond with Advocare. Those are things that I desire, that I focus on, that I think about, that I work on, that I invest in. The reason I share Spark with people, the reason I lift weights, the reason I've bought lifting equipment throughout my life, supplementation. I live it, I talk it, I am about it. I'm about it 100%. And I still don't have my gym, and I'm still not Diamond, right? And I still don't have my new car. The process, even making this video, is part of the process. It's about 1 in the morning on a Friday night, meaning it's Saturday technically. And what I've done today is just work. You know, I was up late last night writing on Jordan Peterson's self-authoring, working. You know, I ate with my family for Thanksgiving, had a wonderful lunch, and rested a little bit and got to work. Now, I'm not telling this to you to impress you, to make you think, wow, Jacob's so cool. No. You see, because the process doesn't really care what I think. The process doesn't really care what you think. The process in your life doesn't really care what I think or what anyone thinks. The process is. And so the process just needs your work. That's all it needs. It just needs your work. I was about to head in, go home. I just made an amazing video talking about Jordan Peterson's self-authoring. It's available now. It's already uploaded. And then I started studying more work on Jordan Peterson's concepts of he's going into the Bible and how it goes into mythology and Jungian dreams and tearing that. I'm just ripping that apart. You know, I got some chess games going on with people on the chess app, and I thought to myself, wouldn't it be nice to just go home, you know, walk over to my place and just go to bed right now? It would be pleasurable. I could appreciate it. There's even healthy things about that behavior that are great. I should maybe do that, right? What I should also do is this video about loving the process. And evidence of my love for the process is me doing this video when I just told you. Part of me would like to go already to bed. But this other part of me, that's into the design of more. You know, that's where the ambition, the drive to achieve what you really want helps you love the process. The ambition, the impatience has to be channeled into patience. The drive and the passion has to sort of like a sponge, squeeze it out till it creates love for the process. Well, today I'm going to be telling you about a little bit of the things that I've, for example, had to cope with, okay? Here are I've just wrote down a few of them myself, okay? For example, for every great, amazing relationship and awesome stories at dates at a vineyard, going out dancing, tearing up the dance floor with a girlfriend and being the center of attention while everybody's like, oh, look at those people having a great time. Going to Miami South Beach, going to Las Vegas, traveling to see amazing concerts with dates or girlfriends. I've had dates that were frustrating. Dates that, none of us achieved what we wanted. It was like late cancellations. Dates that were wah, wah, wah. You see, the process. I've had wins in my career. I've done thousands of spinning classes, hundreds of yoga classes. I've written a book it's called Your Divine Romance, Bold Action, Meditation, and Pure Love. I've worked with corporations like LA Fitness. I've had my own company, my own gym. I've trained trainers. I've trained people from all over the world, right? I've worked with the school district, teaching kids and young adults, right? And so, as you can understand, that sounds great, doesn't it? I've played guitar. I know how to play guitar. I know how to read music. I'm very competitive in sports. I'm an athletic person. I've done CrossFit, bodybuilding, cycling. And that sounds great, doesn't it? And I've managed to have a career where I've been able to do what I love and make a living doing it. That sounds great, doesn't it? I've also had moments where I was cutting it kind of close, just making ends meet barely, I've had those moments where I didn't quite feel perfectly aligned, where things weren't going awesome, where things were off. I've had those moments, the process. I've had family bonds that were deep conversations, memories full of love. I was raised in a family of love, and Christmases and Thanksgivings and sharing stories, laughter, love, humility, dinners, right? And I've had situations that were toxic in our family. So situations that I'm now coming to the surface and sharing, and like you saw in my last video, I've had stuff that was pretty hard to deal with. Even this year, stuff that's really hard to deal with. The process. My health and vitality has been at a high level, high muscularity, high energy, high performance, high just everything, flexibility, and high nutrition. And I've also been sick. The process. I've had wins in sports, wins in chess, wins in CrossFit, wins in bodybuilding, wins in just about anything that had to do with some sort of physical performance. I had wins in those areas. And I've had losses in those same areas. I've had a high mastery mindset. I've had a high mastery of my emotions and psychology and the ability to produce the thoughts and confidence that I wanted at will. And sometimes there's been moments in my life through breakups or whatever where I had to fight depression and just do whatever I could to get the most out of that day. It's however hard that was. The process. I've understood the most enlightening books, the most profound concepts. I've pushed my mind and my imagination to levels that I never thought were going to be possible per se. And confidence in sciences, spirituality, in finances, in marketing, in just about any possible thing that I've wanted to study under the sun within reason, whatever that means, within reason. Even concepts like the Illuminati, the just craziest things. I've studied those things. And sometimes I've wasted time studying things that were pretty much of no use. The process. So as you can see here, that there is a certain struggle in embracing the suck, there's a certain embrace the suck, there's a certain moment of humility needed to achieve victories. Because there is a polarity of sorts, a way that we see that in order to achieve these wins, we have to understand that it can only exist by the contrast that there's an opposite that is not so much the win. But the entire gamut of those two seemingly opposing forces is the process. And if you love the process enough to work through that, then you, my friend, are a warrior. You, my friend, are a real entrepreneur. You, my friend, have a fighting chance, and you're in the right game. But it's humbling. As Kendrick Lamar says in his song, sit down, be humble. So, understand that I can now understand that in life, when you see the polarities, and again, I'm working with this right now, dude. You're not ever out of this. You can't get out of it. There's always a new challenge. You know, if I look back 10 years ago, let's see, 10 years ago, yeah. At that time, my challenge was just graduating college, and that was my big challenge. About 2 years after that, I had already graduated college, and I was looking to build a real estate company, a real estate firm. 2 years after that, you know, there was a little bit more comfort in that real estate stuff project. I had put that on the side. There were some wins, and then there was a relationship coming to the picture, and there was a job in the challenges, right? 2 years after that, there was a challenge of there's a breakup, and now I have to build a company, right? So you see, the challenge is consistent. Right now, I know I have to go to the doctor to check something out in my health, and manage a business and build this online tribe, right? Build my work, my connections online, right? And there's a process to it always, because let's just say, take for example, YouTube videos, right? There's a process even to connecting with the people that are like-minded, like me. It's one of my goals to connect with people that are like-minded and have a similar interest, and we can collaborate together. And the videos that I'm making are designed to connect with people like yourself, or people that have similar interests. But if we don't, or we're nothing alike, sorry. But you see what I'm saying? But that's a process. And if I just take the fact that, it's not quite where it needs to be, and just become a little bitch about it, right? Then, I'm going to be throwing away all the potential ahead of me, right? And at any time, and you can always count on somebody to throw away the potential. You can always count on it. The thing is, are you going to be that person that throws away the potential in the gym, in the YouTube videos, in your Snapchat, in your Instagram, in your Facebook, for example, in social media, in a relationship, in your career, as a teacher, as a janitor, whatever, dude, it doesn't matter. As long as you know that in your heart you need to commit to that thing, but you bail out because the process is too hard, that's what you're not loving the process enough to the point where it became a thing. So today, I want to go ahead and tell you a little bit about I have here some of the tips for you as to how to embrace and love the process. Now, keep in mind that, let's just say prior to Gary Vee making this very famous, a lot of people just want to win and just want to get the payout without letting the process make something of them. I saw this kid that was like 18 years old. He has a Lamborghini. There was a little level of jealousy to an extent, because I'm here wanting a new car. He's got a Lamborghini. But it allowed me to say, well, wait, why are you jealous? And, he's got a Lamborghini. He's only, 18 years old. But, does that make sense? I'm not saying I was, so jealous as much as, damn, dude, how's he? Does that make sense? But that's where it's like, Jacob, you're being too hard on yourself to the point where you can't see clearly because of your emotions, is what I'm saying. And see, that's part of the process. Like, I have wisdom, I have muscle, I have strength and vitality, all those other wins. If I stop celebrating my wins and start having an emotional response because I'm not working on my process, I'm not making my videos, I'm not sharing my advocare, I'm not building my company in the response of a Lamborghini and some sort of emotional little vortex there of a downward spiral of sorts, then who's that going to help? So I'll be sharing these tips on how to embrace the process, how to love the process. First thing you're going to need is hunger. That's self-explanatory. In other words, you're going to have the desire within yourself to achieve and win. And winning does not mean winning others and rubbing it in their face or being some sort of sore loser. Like, look at Tom Brady. He doesn't go around being like some little punk ass, rude guy, right? Neither does anyone that really wins. As you want to win as a gentleman, but being hungry to win is important. Even my dad said that, and he said you got to be hungry, right? And Tony Robbins says that. So hunger is important. Play a sport, understand competition and how it makes you better. That's a big one. In other words, I was examining my life again with self-authoring, and sports came up, and sports have a great way to show you where you stack up against others, but also how you deal in competitive situations. How good of a team player are you? How good are you at bonding with other people? How good are you? Are you a team player? Do you bond? Do you compete? Do you want to contribute? Why do you want to contribute? These are some great things. So playing a sport is a good way to embrace the process. Even if it's just like one game a week or one game a month, whatever. It doesn't have to be for like high school. You could be if you're in high school, great. But some of you are already graduated, okay? So what do? You have to have, maybe you've already played sports in high school, so you have to have an idea of what it is to compete. Be honest to the wins and be humble to start on day one. I've told people this before, where I've been working out for 20 years and been active even beyond that. So like 30 years of movement or so, headed towards about 30 years of movement and activity and competitiveness. And I look at every day I go to the gym with enough humility to say, what would I do if today were day one? And a lot of people try to be better than that. They try to be better than day one. And it's like, you really can't though. You have to have enough humility to, yes, you're gonna have all the skills that have accumulated. Like, I don't know how good this video is, but I know it's not my day one, but I'm humble enough to treat this video as if it's day one. Does that make sense? Where like some people would say, okay, I've already done a YouTube channel, it didn't work for me, so no, I'm gonna quit. That's the problem. You quit instead of being humble enough to pick up where you left off and say it's day one, okay? And be honest to the wins, meaning like, don't be so hard on yourself that you don't give yourself credit